and welcome to another episode of the Growth Focus podcast. My name is Gary Lafferty, your host, and today I couldn't be more pleased to have our special guest, Michelle Berube, and I'll get her to introduce herself in a minute. But this podcast is about bringing tech leaders from all across the globe to share their insights, their expertise, and their story for all of us to take advantage of. So as said, I am super excited to have this week's guest, Michelle Berube from the Catalyst Group. And without further ado, Michelle, why don't I just hand it over to you, and can I ask you to give us a little snippet about where you came from, how you got into tech, and where you got to today.
All right, well, I can do that. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And I've been on a very long tech journey. I applied for my first job way back when over Monster.com and got into a small company which actually grew and has been sold, but it was called a CLEC, a competitive local exchange carrier, and had this amazing mentor who took a chance on me. I was, maybe 21 at the time, and really found my niche in understanding how to order products and services, and got into helping customers, and really found a passion for being able to overcome problems all of the time and fix them and keep the customer informed, and went through my career as a project manager and a senior project manager, and then to a director and to a vice president and a managing partner. But my whole life was pretty much in corporate America, and I had this team that I worked with. And it's funny how the industry seems very big, but it's pretty small, and you run into the same people over and over again. I had a boss that I stayed with, and he was on the sales side, I was on the operations side, and we just became this amazing team. And we would joke along the way at different companies that we would be at together and say, why aren't we doing this on our own? Why are we in corporate America, which, time and time again gets greedy, and less go back to the biggest asset, which is your people, right? They're keeping you in business.
Absolutely.
So we really wanted to do more and more, and the joke. And during COVID, he moved on from the organization that we were with, that we had literally built our business practice. They brought us in to build that practice. They Tim in, one of our managing partners, and he brought me in, and we built the business from the ground up. He exited the business, and I was still there plugging along, and there were a lot of changes, acquisitions going on. So the landscape that we built was evolving, and the players were evolving, and he said, I'm ready. I'm going to do this on my own. I have another partner, and I want you to come in and lead our customer success organization and client experience, and I want you to build this from the ground up the way you did before. And that evolved into me becoming a managing partner as well. And we really we wanted to give back to the people that worked with us. We wanted to do it different. We didn't want to have people at the top being the only ones who are ever well compensated.
For anyone who doesn't know or hasn't heard of the Catalyst Group, why don't we spend some time talking about that now? So, because obviously now you're a co-founder you're a managing partner of it. It's now your baby as well. I know you were in from the beginning before it actually started, but tell us, what is it that you guys do? What is the who do you serve, and what is the problems that you solve for your clients?
So we are an IT consulting firm, and we do everything from mobility management to IT security. That's putting in also your network. We're helping with hardware, and we also do what's called managed services, where we'll actually act as an extension of an organization's IT staff. So anything across the gamut we can provide help with. Licensing, right? And I'm just kind of giving you examples. A lot of companies out there, when you have employees, you're continually buying licenses, right? And now you have to manage them, and they all have a different renewal date. So we have partners that we utilize that have an app for that now. And everything that you have from a licensing perspective is under one umbrella. So it's not just we're bringing in fiber networks to customers. We do that all the time. There's so many different services, from software as a service to unified communications to cloud. We pretty much have expertise in all of it, and the majority of our staff is built on 20 plus years of experience in the industry.
Right.
Who do we target? We really look for mid to large enterprise customers. However, we have a lot of small customers, mom and pop shops, one location customers. So, as a startup, yes, you're going to have an ideal customer base and really who you want to target. But on the other side of that, you're also building your brand. So for us, if you have a problem and we can help you solve the problem, that's our target client.
What the main problems that your product and service solves for your clients?
The main products and services?
The main problems that you solve or help solve?
Oh gosh, we're solving networking problems to the point where your network, your carrier network, you don't have enough bandwidth. All of your locations aren't able to communicate with one another. Security is actually huge right now, and a lot of customers don't realize that. You really need to be looking at your insurance policy that you have to look and see what does your insurance require you to be able to insure, if you had a claim, you were hacked into, whatever that may be, ransomware. Are you compliant for them to actually pay out your claim? We do training for that, training modules for staff where they'll actually go in and do the security training or any type of compliance training that you need. Mobility. Mobility is another huge one, and I know we talked about this offline. We have anything from mobility management, where you're potentially changing providers and having it under, maybe it's AT&T and Verizon, and you want that under one management platform. You can do that, but that comes with a lot of changes where you're changing carriers, there's disruption to your end users, or you might just want to say, savings, right? We need to look at our budget, or our IT spend is way too big. We need to bring this down. And I think that's a huge area as well that we support. As I said, with the mobility, we have exclusive partners that we work with that just manage your bill. No changes. There's no changes to your provider, anything, but the carriers don't tell you that they offer something, and they're called unpublished rates. But you can't get them because you don't know about them, but they're there for you. So we work with other providers to help with this along the way.
And I think when we were talking offline, you can literally save thousands of dollars, can't you, just by knowing what you don't know, right?
Yes.
Like you just said, from the carriers.
Yep, we're working with a client now that we're saving $7,000 a month. That's that's an additional staff member. That's funding right there for another project. And again, you're not changing anything. This is just a billing. Someone wrote an algorithm that reviews your bill for you every single month and throughout the month, and manages your plans for you, so you're getting the best bang for your buck.
Absolutely. And I think you just cover all three areas. What do most businesses need, or what do most businesses want? They want to make money, they want to save money, and they want to be compliant. And the fact that you're able to touch all three and help them do all three, I think it's an absolute fantastic thing. Well, Michelle, this has been absolutely fabulous. We've had, it's been an absolute blast talking to you. And, again, I can't believe where the time has gone. But listen, I've got one final question for you. And it's a little bit of a loaded question. It's something I like to ask everybody at the end of their interview. And I can't, different from most people. But for you, I think the loaded question would be this. Coming from corporate America, building up your career in corporate America, then to make the shift into entrepreneurship and the managing partner of a firm, and as you say, having to learn so much so quickly, because it has to be done. You can't put it off to next week. It's got to be done, right? Whereas before you can just say, I'll get round to doing that. Whereas in entrepreneurship, it's now or never. You've got to get it done. I suppose my question to you would be, if you had to give your younger self a piece of advice, what would that advice be, knowing what you know now?
I think the piece of advice would be, don't sweat the small stuff, because you're going to be okay, right? Enjoy, be present, enjoy the journey, because it truly is a journey, and believe in yourself.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff. It is a journey. As much as we talk about destinations, you're on a journey. If you imagine any car ride, and you're miserable in the whole car ride until you got to the end, you just ruined half your vacation, haven't you? Same in business. You've got to enjoy the journey. You've got to enjoy the ride.
Right.
You know?
And it's okay to fail, right? Because each failure is just a
Yeah.
lesson. You're going to learn from it. So
Absolutely. It's a life lesson. I'm a great believer in failing and failing fast and just getting back up again.
right.
It's
And don't
just, it's not
don't
really a
fail
failure.
like
It's just,
that again. Yeah, don't make that mistake again, right? And we tell our teams this all the time. We have 2 interns, and we're like, listen, you're gonna make a mistake. We expect it. It's how you handle the mistake is what we want to teach you. Don't ever be
Exactly.
afraid of making a mistake, because you're gonna learn from it.
yeah. If you don't learn from those mistakes, then it's not a lesson. So you might as well learn from it, right?
Right,
And
right.
get better from there.